Hello, hello, I'm Beth Joey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Man, I have been really bad at staying on top of this YouTube channel, but I am determined going into the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022 to really get on top of it and start posting videos a lot more frequently and getting back into my reading flow. So I want to start this off with the books that I want to read before the end of the year. The first book I want to read before the end of 2021 is Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I've heard so many people reading it and loving it, and I just couldn't resist picking it up. It reminds me, reading through the blurb just now, of a couple of different fairy tales actually. The first one being, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a fairy tale about a girl whose brothers all get turned into parrots and she has to do something to save them. Also reminds me of The Little Mermaid, obviously, because she sort of loses her voice. And then it also kind of reminds me a little bit of Cinderella, but I think that's just more because I recently read Cinderella is Dead, and then I recently went and saw the musical Cinderella, and this has a sort of evil stepmother in it, so it kind of, that's the only reason why it really reminds me of that. I got this from the library, so I've got about 2 weeks to read this, so this is definitely a before the end of 2021 read. The next book that I want to read before the end of 2021 is Jade, Fire, Gold by June C.L. Tan. And don't get me wrong, a lot of this is cover related. I want to read it because I want to know more about this. Look at that cover, like that is, look at the dynamic there of the pink and the green against each other. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I believe it's about two people who sort of come together to help each other with their own sort of like revenge and goals and that sort of thing. One of them has magical abilities, the other I'm not sure. I'm interested because obviously it's a his and a her, whether there's going to be sort of an element of romance in here or if it's going to be more of a brother-sister vibe. The next book that I want to read before the end of the year is How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. It'll make for an interesting read just because I'm kind of intrigued to know why she wants to kill her family. Apparently it's about a girl who wants revenge after having lost everything. She's sitting in jail for a crime she did not commit, that being the murder of her family. I believe, based on the blurb, it might be written kind of like a confession, like a bit of a diary sort of thing. The next book that I want to read before the end of 2021 is part of a series that I've gotten really into, which is the Magic Bleeds or Magic Burns series by Ilona Andrews. I first heard of this series from Reagan from Peru's Project. I think it was in one of her fantasy recommendation series or something along those lines. I went into it thinking it would be quite a short series, and then I found out it's about 10 books long. Essentially it's about a world where there's a constant battle between tech and magic, essentially, where there's tech waves and magic waves, and in a tech wave no one with magic is able to use their powers, and then in a magic wave all the technology sort of dies. It centers around a woman named Kate who essentially has a really interesting relationship with the pack, which are shapeshifters, a pack of shapeshifters, and their beast lord, which I found a really cringy title for him. And she has all of these sort of unexplored, unknown powers that you sort of find out throughout the series. And she has to keep all of it a secret, but slowly her secret throughout the series is becoming uncovered by more and more people. I've only read a couple of the books, so I'm not 100% sure on the entire premise of the series, but it's really been interesting so far. I think I've read 2 or 3. And I'm keen to continue on. The next book that I want to read before the end of 2021 is Beach Read by Emily Henry. Now, I have heard 1,000,001 amazing things about this book, and so I had to pick it up. I don't know much about it other than the fact it's about 2 writers who are trying to sort of come together and write their books after suffering from some insane writer's block. Naturally, as it is a romance, they come together and sparks fly. The next book that I want to read before the end of the year is another series. I'm literally in the middle of it. I'm halfway through the second book and it's a trilogy, and that is the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. This is one that I first became aware of because of Becca and the Books' channel. She raved about how much she loved this series, and she had the fairy editions, and I thought they were just beautiful. So I decided to pick up Red Rising from the library. I did enjoy it somewhat. Had a lot of similarities with the Hunger Games, but I figured why not give the second one a go. I'm loving it, so I'm really hoping to finish this and read the third one, library permitting, before the end of the year. The next book that I'm hoping to read before the end of the year is one that I got in a Fairy Loot subscription box, and that is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This book gives me very much Little Mermaid vibes. A woman sort of finds out that the man that she loves is about to marry someone else, so she makes a deal, to stop the wedding from happening, and ends up sort of signing up to more than she bargained for. The last book that I want to read before the end of 2021 is something that I got in an Illumicrate subscription box. There's definitely a theme here of a lot of subscription box books because I get them and then I don't get time to read them because the library and anyway, and that is Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. Little Thieves, again, I don't know a whole heap about. I only just opened it in my Illumicrate subscription box, but apparently there's a maid who steals the life and the face of a princess and lives her life while the princess is forced to toil away as a maid. The maid is discovered and she goes to jail, or she's executed for her crimes, and that's how the story's sort of always been told. But Little Thieves is told from this perspective of the maid and everything sort of she went through and experienced. It reminds me a little bit of Cinderella is Dead in that it's sort of the truth coming out about what really happens in the kingdom, but again, I haven't read this book. I don't know enough about it to really make any kind of judgments. So those are all the books that I hope to read before the end of 2021. Most of them are real chonkers, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get through all of them, but here's to hoping. Let me know your thoughts down below about the books that I've picked, if you've read any of them, if you've loved any of them. Other than that, do like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I release new content, if you want, obviously. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!